Hi everyone, my name is Eric Shepard. I'm a drum instructor at the Fall River Arts Academy in Fall River, Massachusetts. And today you're going to be having a free drum lesson. And what we're going to go over today is introduction to four-way coordination, starting to work with all of your limbs, gaining some independence with each one. We're going to use some simple exercises, some good warm-ups, and then at the end we'll show you how to use it within a drum beat. So whether you have a drum set or not, don't worry about it, because what you can do is if you're sitting at a kitchen table, sitting in your living room chair, you can play in your lap, you can play on the table. This is just about getting each limb moving correctly in a certain order right now. So we're going to start with, in the chat room, if you notice, there's a downloadable PDF that you can follow along with. If you don't know how to read music or anything, I'll walk you through it. I tried labeling everything as clearly as possible, and it's just going to be a couple different rhythms we'll go over. The more notes you see, the faster you'll play them. And if you do know how to read music, then it should be pretty straightforward to follow. So what we're going to do, we're going to be working with our right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot. So the idea is to balance these limbs out while gaining independence on each of them. And when you try and do these things, especially with the feet at the same time, I want us to be able to not rock back and forth so much. I want you to stay centered and balanced and focus on that side of this as well. So for the first exercise, all we're doing is just getting used to reading the notation and playing on a certain drum if you're at a drum set. So for our right hand, I have it notated for your floor tom. Your left hand is going to be on your snare drum right now. Right foot's on the bass drum, left foot's on the hi-hat. So we're going to be playing a hi-hat, but like this, with our foot, not with our hand. Some of us may be used to if we've just recently started to take drum lessons. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play quarter notes. We're just going to count to 4 and just hit each drum once, using each limb once. We're just going to keep repeating that over and over. I have it notated 4 times in a row, but we can just keep repeating over as much as we want. So the order I have is both hands first and then both feet. So we're going to start with the floor tom, and we're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is just to get comfortable starting to use each limb, because some of us may not have used the left foot at all yet, playing with the hi-hat. So this is going to be the order. Snare drum, bass drum, hi-hat. And we're just counting 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the drum mic over, and I'm just going to play this. I'll do a little count off, and just follow along, play along if you can, or just watch, observe, follow along with the sheet music if you have it, and go from there. So here we go. So you won't be able to hear me counting so much when I start using the drum microphone. So that's just a simple way to start getting us used to hearing different sounds while using each of our limbs. And again, if you don't have a drum set, just play along, just tapping each foot on the floor and just playing on your lap, on a table, anything like that. This is just to start being conscious of using each limb separately. So in our next line, we're going to be doing the same order, but we're actually going to be using eighth notes. So these are going to be a little faster than what we just did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are quarter notes. So basically, we're going to be doubling up on each of these now. So we'll be doing each one twice, same order, going from the hands, then to the feet. Again, this is just to get you comfortable with some counting. and using your limbs independently, just a little more in depth. So the way we're going to count this, if you're following along, is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Same exact order, just now 2 times on each drum. So I will do that for you. And remember, these are going to be a little faster because they're eighth notes. So just follow along, listen if you want, play along if you want. And here we go. So again, just some basic independence, starting to use each limb, doubling up, playing a little more. And if you notice, we're going in the order of right hand, right foot, left foot. So we're just doing both hands at first, then we're going towards both feet. So with that, we can do different patterns instead. So usually a lot of people feel more comfortable using their hands for stuff at first because every day they're just using them without even thinking about it. Feet can be a little more tricky with the control, especially when we start using our hi-hat foot. So what I did was I started rearranging some of these so we can do them in different orders. Again, same idea, same concept of eighth notes, but now for our next line, what we're going to do is we're actually doing our right side first, then our left side. So if we had the 4 sections, right arm, right foot, left foot, we first did 2 up top, then the 2 on bottom. Now we're splitting it side by side instead. So the order for this one is going to be foot on, drum, then left hand, left foot. So you'll notice the notation. And again, pay attention. I tried giving you that first line on top just so you can be aware of what each space means if you're not familiar with reading some drum music. But again, it's just an order. So this one now, those little X's on the bottom are going to be a hi-hat with the foot. So those probably stand out the most to people. So with this now, number 3, it's labeled right side, left side. So again, we're just splitting it side by side instead of top and bottom. So I'll play this again for you, and this is how this one will sound. So remember, now we're focusing on the right side to the left side. Okay, so same rhythm, same speed. We're just doing a different order. Always practice these with the metronome. I don't have one at the moment to run through the live system, but it's always recommended. Everything you do, practice with the metronome. So now what we're going to do for our next one, so we've done top and bottom, right side, left side. Now on the fourth one, we're going to be doing the right side, left foot. So right hand, left foot, then left foot, left hand. So now we're going to be kind of crisscrossing our patterns here. So if you notice on number 4, we start with the floor tom, which is our right hand. Then we go to the hi-hat with our foot, which is our left. So we're going from right to left. And then we're going to be doing the left hand on the snare and then right foot on the bass drum. So now we're kind of doing a little X pattern, crisscrossing things here. So a little more to be aware of. All we've done so far, same drums, same rhythms, except for that first one. And now we're just putting them in different patterns, because it's very easy to do your right side with each other, your left side with each other, or even hands to feet. But when you start to crisscross, it gets a little more in depth, a little more tricky, a little more concentration you need to do. So I'll be playing that one for you. So remember, again, right hand, left foot, so opposites, then left hand, right foot. So that's how this one will sound. Okay, so haven't changed much except for the order. Still using these same drums. As we go on, we're going to be using more of just the snare drum, but this is just so you can start to hear different sounds according to each limb. So if you're not playing in the right order, it may sonically stand out a little more to you. So what we're going to do for our next exercise, we're going to bring it back to the snare drum just on the hands, and then our feet are staying where they are, obviously. But now we're going to be playing both hands, but on one surface. So a little more concentration in the sense of that mistake might not stand out as much if you do the wrong hand. This, again, is just to start getting some basic coordination down. So what we're going to do for number 5 is our feet now are playing quarter notes. So we're just alternating between the feet. We're going 1, 2, 3. So going back to that first line of quarter notes, now we're going to be putting it in a certain order. Hands are going to be alternating as well, but just on the one surface, so the snare drum. So these will sound like this. So again, slower than the eighth notes we were doing. And then feet are going to be following under that. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the nice thing about exercise number 5 is it's going back to that just right side and left side, but now they're actually playing together. So instead of doing the individual this drum on the right side, we're actually going to be lining them up together. So they'll be playing at the same time. So it'll be right hand and bass drum, left hand, and hi-hat with foot. But again, all on one surface now. So I'm going to play this example for you, going back to quarter notes. And all it is right side together, left side together. But focus on your balance. Don't be rocking back and forth, right? Try and get that nice center. And this is going to help with the balance coordination side of everything as well. So pretend as if you're you're not lifting and shifting your weight to compensate to play whichever one we're doing, right? Just pretend you're centered and you're just bending at your joint pretty much. So you're moving your leg, but not really shifting your body weight. So little focus on it, but this is how this one's going to sound. So quarter notes on both hands and feet, just alternating and on one surface. So that last exercise is nice because it gives you the chance to really sit there and focus on it, because now you're doing both sides together as opposed to giving that separation. So it allows you to sort of feel that shift more if you're doing it. So next exercise, number 6, we're going to eighth notes on the hands now. So feet are staying quarter notes just like we did. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to be doubling up on the hands again. So going back to that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're using alternating sticks. So just right, left, right, left. So just to kind of give you an example of each one for a second. For the first one, for 1, our bass drum and snare drum will play together. And then on that and is just going to be your snare drum. So, or you can think together. Okay, so right hand, right foot. Then the left hand is just going to be by itself, because now we're just going to be alternating our sticks. So anytime we're playing a right hand right now, because we're starting with our right and just going right, left, right, left. Anytime our right hand plays that snare drum, we're going to be either playing a bass drum or a hi-hat with it. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. So as of right now for this exercise, those left hands are going to be all by themselves on the snare drum. Everything else on the right hand is going to be bass drum or hi-hat with the foot. So this is how this one will sound. Remember, the hands are going to be playing twice as much as the feet. So our next exercise is doing a similar thing, eighth notes on the hands, quarter notes with the feet, but now if you notice, we're going to be doing doubles on the hands. So instead of alternating going right, left, now we're actually going to be going right, right, left, left. So same count on the hands, we're just doing a different sticking pattern. Feet are going to still be playing those quarter notes. So now this one, just to give you the example first, when we play our right hand, and this kind of actually lines up a little nicely, because anytime we're doing doubles on our right, the bass drum's going with it. So we're going back to our right side is sort of playing together, and then our left side's playing together, because on the twos and fours, we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass drum, 1, 2, 4. So for 1 and, it's going to be all rights. And then again, the ands are going to be by themselves on the snare drum. Bass drum falls on the numbers 1 and 3. Hi-hat with the foot falls on the numbers 2 and 4. So to slowly put it together before I play the whole example, together, so that's our right side, then left side, same thing just on that side. So together, so same rhythm, same idea, just using a different sticking pattern can make it feel like a whole new exercise though, which is great. And this is awesome because you're going to be working on your singles like you were before, and then your doubles. So this is how this one will sound. It should sound the exact same. It's just now we're using a different sticking pattern. Okay, so same idea, just doing doubles with the hands. Our next exercise after the doubles, so we are on exercise number 8. It's going to be doing doubles again, but all I'm having you do is starting to move them around the drum set if you're playing at your kit. Now for me, I only have snare drum, 1 tom up top, and the floor tom. I wrote it out for someone who has the 2 toms up top, which more people do than having this setup. So you're going to hear me hitting my ride cymbal, but that should be that second tom up there if you have it, and if not, you can just do what I'm doing and just hit the cymbal, or you can keep that right hand down here. But ideally what I'm going to do is we're going to move our right hand back to the floor tom like we did in the beginning, and we're going to be going still right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, same sticking pattern on that last exercise, but we're going to be moving our hands. So our hands are going to go from here, and then we're doing the lefts. Then we're going to move the right hand up, and then the left hand up. So ideally, our paths are staying here, but they're just moving up and down. We're not coming back here with the right hand or going over here with the left hand right now. All it is doubles, right, right, left, left, and then moving up, right, right, left, left. So same exercise, just moving around the kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this, and again, you'll hear my ride cymbal, but if you're familiar with sheet music, you'll notice it's on a tom for that one up there for the 3 and. So it may sound a little different if you play it on your drum set if you have the 2 toms, but that's how this should sound. So I sped up during that, but just to show you, it's a real good exercise to work on your doubles because learning them on one surface is great. Playing on a floor tom compared to a snare drum is a lot more work, so you're going to have to really work harder for that double. But it's good because you start getting comfortable with different surfaces as well. It would be like playing on a driveway made out of cement and then going to play on a pillow. Very different surface tensions, and you get different rebound from it, so you're just going to have to work differently. So to start on the snare drum, and then moving it around to really start getting comfortable with different surfaces. So for our last exercise, I put this all in a drum beat, this 4-way coordination. So what we're doing is the feet are still staying the same. 1, 2, 3, Okay, so quarter notes on there, or you're just playing the numbers, alternating the feet. And all we're doing, if you've taken drum lessons before, if you've played drums for a little bit, you're probably familiar with an eighth note rock beat. So something like this. But instead of playing our right hand on the hi-hat, we're going to be bringing it over to the ride. Snare drum stays on the 2 and 4 still, bass drum on the 1 and 3. And so really what we're doing is that drum beat goes from this to this. And to look at it differently, instead of thinking of our feet alternating, all we're going to do right now for this is every time we play that snare drum on 2 and 4, we're also playing the hi-hat with our foot. So this is taking that four-way coordination concept, gaining that independence, and now putting it with a drum beat. Something you're probably familiar with. Usually it's a beat that's in a lot of songs. A lot of people kind of start off with a drum beat similar to that. And if not, all it is taking your right hand, counting eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and bass drum on just your 1 and 3, and 2 and then snare drum on the 2s and 4s, 1 and then just combining them together. And then, like I said, all we're doing is playing this hi-hat with our foot on the 2s and 4s with the snare drum. So your left side is pretty much playing together again. So that's how this beat will sound. So this is something that can get taken, and the concepts to go down are endless. There's so many things to do. This is just a nice introduction to learning how to start using all 4 limbs together. Because a lot of times we start with right hand, right foot, and left hand. And a lot of times we don't use this left foot until a little later. So those beginning exercises are just getting you comfortable with gaining control over each limb. Not really in a drum beat, so it doesn't sound catchy or anything like that, but it's just getting you used to hearing different surfaces, controlling the limbs separately, and then slowly starting to bring it all together. So I hope you guys learned something from this. If you want to download this before the session ends, you can just download through the chat. It's a PDF. It has all those exercises printed out. If you're interested in lessons, you can sign up at Fall River Arts Academy. We'll be continuing online lessons even after all this is going on and we get back to normal. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys next time.